broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey everyone, and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV Sailor Moon Crystal After Show. We are talking Act 21, that's right, Complication, Nemesis. I am Kaori Takee, and you can follow me all week long, all night long, all day long, at Kaorious, Kaorious. And all the way along during this show, you can hashtag ABTV Sailor Moon, because
Crystal's a little long.
Crystal would be too much.
Again, hashtag ABTV Sailor Moon. You can send us comments, questions, and all that good stuff, or join us live in the chat. And I've got great people, fancy, sexy ladies with me. I've got Emma Fyffe.
Hello. You can follow me on Twitter at Emma Fyffe.
And, of course, Megan Salinas.
Hi, guys. You can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
All right, so let's talk some Nemesis. I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, it's been a bit. How have you guys been?
Great.
Good.
I think that these past couple acts have been really solid, and
I totally agree.
It's really dark and gritty, and I really love it.
Yeah, totally.
So what did you guys think of this last one so far?
Dark. Yeah. Dark is definitely the right word for it. This stuff, I remember watching the original series when I was a kid, and this part is certainly part of, back in the day, and it's still true today. I am glued to the screen when we get to this part of the story, because it's both really captivating and cool, but also really unsettling. And like, this is probably one of the most unsettling parts of Sailor Moon as a series. I mean, it's skin crawling but interesting. It's just so
that first scene alone, when she wakes up and first of all, my first note says Usagi wakes up in a creepy bed wearing a new dress, and then I thought to myself, okay, at this point in Sailor Moon Crystal, not in the 90s series, but in Sailor Moon Crystal, at this point, Esmeralda is dead. All of the Spectre sisters are dead. Who put her in this dress? There are no ladies around anymore.
See, I didn't think about that. I just thought it was all mystical, like she just reappeared in that dress.
I mean, they do have magic powers.
That is true.
It's definitely been established in lots of anime series that clothes powers are a thing.
Absolutely.
But no, that's the creepy bit, and it's like a really wrinkly, like gross kind of.
I mean, this scene is pretty rapey. Like, let's get real.
There we go. That is. There's no dancing around it. This is a really unsettling. Scene.
Let's talk about how she ends up over there in Nemesis, and now she
Well, and first of all, when she first wakes up and realizes she's in Nemesis, like, she has had this dream where she sees a grown-up version of her daughter hanging all over her future husband.
I mean, come on. I mean, we all are Moonies. We know that that's kind of the weird twist to the Chigusa.
I stand by what I said this was weeks ago when Chigusa was first introduced. It was weird in the manga. It's weird here.
It's always weird.
There is no dancing around it. This stuff is gross.
Yeah, and then whenever there are those moments where you see Chigusa depending on her like a mother, you're like, okay, that feels right.
No, absolutely. I hate to keep being the one person on this panel that goes, I liked the original anime better. But I thought that the original anime did a much better job of establishing how good of a mother-daughter relationship they had. And
I think that's coming, though.
I know we'll get to it, and we've had little bits of it here and there. But like without that, it makes the creep factor for this whole weird father-daughter thing even worse. And it's just skin crawling.
Doesn't this episode kind of helped out with that, because there was a lot of
not the way it started.
Actually, this is something that
does help.
that I thought was very interesting. So I was rereading this act of the manga as well, because more or less, as we've talked about before, Sailor Moon Crystal is a shot-for-shot remake of the manga. Now, this could be a translation difference, and they could, for all we know, be saying the exact same thing. That is the thing with watching anime, as we are dealing with the translations that we are given, because I can read limited Japanese. I can't read enough to just straight up read the manga.
No.
And so in the manga, in that scene where, this is going to what you were talking about, Megan, about how you're not sure about Usagi really being established as the fact that she was in the future a good mother to Chigusa. In the manga, it really seems like she wasn't. And I don't know if that's just the translation that I was reading. But basically the scene where she first has the flashback and she's really excited to see that her mom, that this is Chigusa, has the flashback, and she sees that her mom didn't have it all together when she was a teenager. And that actually makes Chigusa feel better, which I really liked.
Yeah, I like that too. I think it's like, oh, okay, there's hope for me.
Exactly. But then in the subsequent scene where she's talking about how she's nothing like her mom and she'll never be like her, in Sailor Moon Crystal, what I really liked was their translation made it very clear that she thought her father cared about her mother more than anything else in the world.
Yeah.
Whereas in the manga, she made it seem like her mom only cared about her dad and not about her. But I really liked in Crystal how she was talking about how her mother, about her father loves and idolizes her mother and pays so much attention to her, because that is exactly what we're seeing with Usagi getting jealous of the amount of attention that Mamoru is paying to Chibiusa. So it's interesting to see that in the future, Chibiusa basically had the same attitude towards her dad paying too much attention to her mom. I don't know.
Like mother, like daughter.
Yeah,
they really
totally. They really are alike. And I think that's something that Sailor Moon Crystal is doing an incredibly good job of illustrating, is just how alike these two characters are.
I feel like they did that a lot better in the original series. Just because there was more time to actually see Chibiusa and Usagi playing off of each other in the present.
Well, I think that Chibiusa is a lot more likable in this particular
That's debatable, but yeah.
Well, that's just how I feel.
I agree, and I think that the general response has been that way. Now, it's interesting. I think if you watch the original anime series, uncut with subtitles, Chibiusa is leaps and bounds more likable than Rini, who they just made a brat.
Yes.
The end.
I completely agree with you.
You know, for example, in this one episode where Ami is thinking about going to Germany to study abroad, this is in the 90s anime, in a scene where in the original translation, Chibiusa just shows up and says to her something to the effect of, oh, it's weird that no one showed up, because of course they're all off fighting, you know, Cardians or whatever. No, I think actually the Black Moon Clan is in it at that point. But in the Deke dub with Rini, she's basically like, man, your friends are terrible. They all abandoned you. She's just unnecessarily mean.
I think it's just a translation thing.
Yeah.
They have to change it, and then culturally it doesn't translate.
Totally.
And the other thing is that we might even be misinterpreting the intention of the subtitles.
Totally.
Because we can't understand the intention that's there verbally. So maybe when she says, you know, it's sad that nobody showed up, she's like being really condescending.
Well, that is true. No,
true.
she's right. You're totally right, Megan.
That's true, because sometimes I'll catch myself being like, man, if people understood that, it comes off very different.
Yeah.
But
it's
I mean,
so
that's just
hard
the way
to
it
convey
is.
tone.
Yeah.
But
in subtitles, exactly.
And words as well.
Yeah.
Just sometimes there's no words to literally translate things.
But I will say that this, in terms of like this particular episode, I really did feel for her, because she spends the entire time wandering around going like, feeling really bad for herself, and you see that she gets picked on.
She's bullied
a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's not just like her family that is saying you'll never live up to this standard, because they're not saying that.
Yeah.
But it's her peers, people who should be respecting her as the princess. You know, I don't know about you guys, I would never talk to a princess that way.
Well, I mean, I wanted to talk about this later, but we could talk about this now. Let's talk about Chibiusa and how we really find out she's a very important person and she's got the bloodline, but the problem is she currently has no power. She's 900 years old, and she looks like a small lady, hence why she's called Small Lady, until one day she becomes a bad lady. But
well, and I just want to point out from our chat roll that it seems to be that the people who are watching it generally agree that they like Chigusa a lot better in Sailor Moon Crystal. So let's move on to where she's going, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, and then so we get a lot about her.
Her
you start
backstory.
Really feeling for her. She has no friends except for Sailor Pluto.
I agree. I mean, I felt like she was super beat up upon in Crystal. This is the first time that I think it's really hit me just how awful things are for her. Besides in Petite Étrangère, which is one of the most recent Sailor Moon musicals that covers this storyline, where it opens with her being by herself and everybody making fun of her, and they took a lot of that dialogue exactly, which was from the manga, and put it in Sailor Moon Crystal, and I thought that they just illustrated it really well, just how nasty everyone was to her.
Yeah. And granted, again, I haven't read this portion of the manga, so I'm not as familiar of what Crystal Tokyo is supposed to be like, but the fact that nobody is aging after a certain point, it's like, well, does that mean that people disrespect Chibiusa because they don't think she'll ever be queen? Because Queen Serenity is not aging. But she stopped aging at 22, which would be nice.
I mean, all the powerful people think, well, she's obviously destined for that throne when that time comes, but she's powerless. And even it stung a little bit when watching the show, watching the act, and her father says, oh, well, she has no power, so she can't really use the legendary silver crystal. I was like, oh, poor girl, he has no faith in her, but he does.
Did anybody feel like when she was going to go to Sailor Pluto, because she's my only friend, she's the only one that understands me, she's the one companion I can rely upon, did anybody feel like it was kind of contrived to be like, oh, she was talking to my dad and my dad made her smile, there's no one for me now? Did anybody feel like that was a little contrived?
I felt that way too.
A little bit, but again, this goes back to what I was saying before about how in Crystal, they make it clear that even though that she is somewhat insecure in her relationship with her father to begin with.
Yes.
So I think that it was not as contrived here as it was in the manga when she showed up. And especially because in Crystal, I think they're making it a lot more clear that Pluto may or may not have feelings for the king.
Yeah,
But the flip side of that is that she was just defending Chibiusa. She's like, she's stronger than you think. She can handle herself.
Yeah.
I have faith in her. Okay, I will follow your instructions because I have faith in this person.
Yeah. I think that Chibiusa certainly misinterpreted what was going on there.
She overreacted. Yeah. And she acted like a little kid, even though she's 900 years old.
That's the other thing is when this particular storyline, when it's presented in other anime, and I won't say which ones because that's a spoiler, but you can definitely see how heavily that weighs upon said person and how much that forces them to grow up and mature, and the idea that what they're doing is really futile, and how seriously that affects them emotionally and how they deal with the rest of the world. With Chibiusa, I never get that feeling that she's 900 years old. She always feels like a
feels like a little girl.
It doesn't feel like somebody who's lived through eons and eons
of being stuck as being a child. Yeah, you want her to almost be more like a Claudia in Interview with a Vampire.
Interview with a Vampire. Somebody who's really frustrated by the fact that they can't grow up, but that doesn't act like a petulant child at every single turn. Occasionally does. Yeah. But in a way that you're like, that is somebody far older than they look.
She literally just runs away into the darkness, accidentally loses her key, which I thought was, oh, come on. How could
a little contrived.
But I thought the relationship between Pluto, it was nice to see Pluto and her and their past.
I loved seeing their first meeting when they first met and started to become friends. Like, that was really cute.
Yeah, no.
And
that was great.
But I can't argue with the point that, yes, for somebody who is supposed to be 900 years old, it would be nice if we saw, and I mean, we do end up seeing this a little bit later in Super S, in the Dream arc, where she has more adult feelings, but at this point, she is acting exactly like a child.
Yeah, so it's the 900-year-old thing. do not buy. Like, at all. I'm like, no, you are a baby. An occasionally cute, occasionally obnoxious baby.
But okay, so along with like a lot that's been going on with her in this particular act, I also like seeing her relationship with her mom in a more positive light.
I agree.
How she actually looks up to her mom. She wants to be a lot like her mom, where previously you're thinking, dang, she has no respect for her, you know? And
totally.
It was a good change.
I just wanted to make one final comment from the chat roll on the Sailor Pluto thing is Karita Reed says she thinks that Chigusa wants a friend all to herself, and that's why she was upset that
sounds like
she and her dad were, that Pluto and King Endymion were bonding.
She does seem a little territorial when it comes to people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, to people in general.
Again, like mother, like daughter.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I actually did really like the point where she, where they flash back and she's looking at Usagi, who's having to present a test to her mother, and she's like, she was a crybaby like me, and you could see that made her feel really good. Like, I have something in common with my mom, and she was able to become, the queen of the new world, and maybe there's hope for me.
Yeah, totally.
So while Venus and the king and Mamo-chan and the kitties and Chibi are all stuck trying to figure out how to get them all back.
Yeah.
How bad did you guys feel for Sailor Venus? Because she must feel like the worst general in the world right now.
She lost that was her scream in the beginning. I was like, wow.
Yep. She's lost everybody at this point. I mean,
She'll get them back.
Venus is my favorite, so I have a lot of Venus feelings, and that was a difficult moment for me.
Yeah.
So while they're trying to get them back, and they know they need to use a power legendary silver crystal, but the catch-22 is they have no power.
Nobody can wield it.
No one can use it. Maybe Chibiusa, question mark. But, we got Sailor Moon as Queen Serenity.
Yes.
Over there.
I love how powerful they make Queen Serenity seem.
I love it, yeah.
It's amazing. Like when they were telling the story about how Phantom attacked the Silver Crystal once upon a time and then got banished to Nemesis.
Yeah.
Why banish the villains? They only ever get stronger and come back with a vengeance.
Listen, in the 90s anime, they said that villains chose to go to Nemesis. So,
but it made her look very strong. Like,
Totally.
Wow, she's protecting, this whole entire planet, pretty much. But anyway, she's stuck up in Nemesis, and she wakes up all dressed up in creepy shit. If it was live action, it would be really creepy. But
it's really creepy.
It is really creepy. It's really creepy no matter if it's a drawing, if it's animated, if it's a live action stage musical. It's terrifying.
Again, this is one of the most skin crawling but also really interesting aspects. And I actually really liked Diamond's his character arc in the original anime. I thought it was a very interesting arc, but at this particular point, it is 100% a power trip for him.
Totally.
Well, I think he likes her.
No, he does.
He does in a creepy, misguided sort of way.
Yeah, and that's part of why I liked his character arc in the original series. Is he goes from somebody who with a completely misperception of what love actually is to somebody who understands love and ultimately, not spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
And ultimately ends up dying for it.
Yeah,
I love it.
You know, that was a thing that they did with pretty much all of the Black Moon clan in the 90s anime. They all got redeemed.
Except for Rubius.
Except for Rubius.
He was a jerk.
The thing is, with Prince Damon's story, like, I like where Prince Damon's story went. I liked where Saphir's story went. I had a problem with the Spectre sisters only because they started working at a kiosk in the mall. And number two, they know how all of this goes down. They are good guys for a long time in the Sailor Moon R story arc of the 90s anime. And they don't help the Senshi. They don't go, hey, this is what happened. Let us help you prevent it. They're too busy peddling Mary Kay.
Selling ice cream.
It would just probably involve too much.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
So she is in Nemesis, and she realizes, okay, Prince Damon has a thing for me, and he kisses her. She tries to use her moon prism power, not working.
I thought it was interesting that they kind of cut it off where they did, because he was a lot more forceful in the original anime and before Tuxedo Mask came swooping in. So it was like,
I'm sorry, I just rewatched that episode of the 90s anime.
So funny.
I know we're getting a little off topic, but Tuxedo Mask literally swoops in on a glider. Like, he sails over Nemesis on a glider and storms the castle and sweeps Sailor Moon off her feet, and they like swing away to safety.
All right, sorry guys. No, it's fine.
So sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Maybe that's why they decided to cut it off.
Yeah.
Well, in the comic book, it's pretty like just quick
Yeah,
and pushy
it
anyway.
is. No, totally.
It's very accurate.
Yes.
But now I'm thinking about Tuxedo Mask.
On a glider.
Glider.
You can't unsee that.
But again, it's interesting with Diamond because he was just looking for any way of being able to obtain the thing that he wanted. It didn't even matter that it's not actually the Queen Serenity that he met. It was just like,
He wanted
close
a
enough.
version of
Yeah.
Queen Serenity.
He said any incarnation would do.
I like that we got to hear his backstory and why. I mean, his evil ways, and he really thinks that it's not he means well, but it's like one of those villains.
It's misguided.
Where, exactly.
It's 100% misguided, and he's a puppet, and he has no idea.
He's I don't give a
Yeah.
crap. I'm just gonna kiss this girl.
No, that is so true, and that
Yeah.
is something that we see. I think, of course, Esmeralda's dead now, but with Saphir, that their sort of disagreement with Phantom. I'm sorry, Wise Man.
Spoilers.
That basically Saphir knows that Wise Man is a problem.
Yeah.
And he sees his brother just devolving. And it's sad that Damon can't see that himself. He just gets more and more possessed and creepy and crazy.
Again, it's a power trip.
Yes,
for him.
it's totally
He's
a power trip.
so involved in what he thinks is getting him what he wants.
Yeah.
He's completely blind to the fact that he's the one being manipulated.
And it's interesting because one of the things that he wants is her, which just kind of shocks you, right? But
Yeah, that is interesting. That like
Yeah.
somebody who is
totally.
the essentially the embodiment of everything he hated and was
Yeah.
angry about is the thing that he kind of falls in love with.
Right.
Again, that's one of the things that makes him really interesting.
I agree.
And that's probably one of the reasons why it is a power trip for him, because she, in a way, represents everything that they
Yeah.
were fighting against.
Exactly.
And he wants to control her and make her kneel and
he's like,
fall in love with him.
He's like, I remember those eyes that hate me so much. Let's make out.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's
to
do
him, that is the ultimate conquest.
I could not have said it better myself. And to everyone who's discussing whether or not Prince Demond did kiss Usagi in the scene where they're in the bedroom.
Oh, they totally kissed.
Yeah, he did. He totally kissed her. And it was
They
the same
did.
thing. She shoved him off her and tried to transform, and it did not go well. Because they explained that being on Nemesis, the whole thing is basically composed of the black crystal, which is the antithesis of the silver crystal, which is all lightness and good and happiness. So you got the black crystal that's all bad and dark and angry.
And I like that it absorbs energy
Yeah.
from a black hole.
Yeah.
That's why they can't transform.
So she's all by herself, but then she hears, her future husband whispering, I'm going to go save you no matter what it takes. And she's like, Momo John, I think I hear you. And then you see the Sailor Scouts over there in the cave trying to transform themselves and not working. But it was so good to see them.
It was.
And communicate with each other.
It was great to see them. It's that whole thing that we saw even the first time around in the depths of the battle with Queen Metalia when they all thought she was dead, and they're like, no, she's still alive, we can feel her. And it was sort of the opposite this time, where she goes, I know my friends are here, I have to find them. And her love of them basically reawakens them enough that they're able to go, oh, where are we? What's happening?
Which, again, poor planning on the Black Moon's part. Why wouldn't you just do away with them as soon as you have what you want?
Or maybe put them in separate cages.
Yeah, no, they just left them on the ground. It's not even like they were being detained or like that they were being confined or chained up in any way. It's just like, no, they're just taking a nap on the ground. No big.
Well, I'm not complaining. I'm happy to see them back.
Oh, no, it's great to have them back. I'm just saying the Black Moon, they really need to figure this stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, again, we've established that Demond is just on a crazy power trip, so planning maybe not so much.
Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we move on to?
I wanted to bring up this was actually the scene leading up to her calling out to her friends with her love power, where she was feeling alone. And she touched upon the fact that because of all the jealousy and confusion she was feeling over Chibiusa, she thinks that is why she has lost her power. Because basically she's having a meltdown and she says, I wish someone would just tell me what to do. And that's when she sees the vision of her mother, Queen Serenity of the Silver Millennium past.
Other
Silver Millennium. And then that causes her to realize the mistakes that she's been making. And she says that she lost her trusting heart. And that is the source of her power. And I just think that is it's one of the things I really love about Sailor Moon, no matter what version we're looking at, is that it all boils down to you have this female character whose incredibly feminine qualities are what make her the most powerful person in the universe.
Yeah.
And it's like when she stops having a pure heart, when she doubts herself, when she loses her confidence in just being a good, caring person, is when she's unable to perform as a soldier.
Well, and the sad thing, sadly, is it has to be her future daughter that's causing her these issues.
know.
It shouldn't be that way. And that's why it was so refreshing to see her, like, in the future, her really taking care of her daughter, even going to save her before Prince Demand pretty much almost annihilates her own daughter, right?
I know.
She pretty much sacrificed herself for her daughter.
That was kind of a weird sequence as a flashback, because we have a girl who looks a lot like Chibiusa with minus the rabbit ears.
Yes, I was really confused in that scene, I must admit.
And, so Prince... I'm gonna call him Diamond because that's just what I'm used to calling him. He's I know, it's terrible, right? And he's going to kill this random girl. That's when Queen Serenity comes out, and that's when he tries to take her. That's when the crystal thing happens, and that's when Chibiusa comes out of the palace because she was trying to steal the silver crystal.
Yeah.
Who was that other kid?
I think that because I was confused about that as well until I saw this. The second time I watched it, it all made sense to me that was a different kid. At first my reaction,
kid, I thought it was her.
No, at first my reaction was, oh man, Chibiusa's been wandering around amongst the dead bodies for years. That girl is much littler than Chibiusa.
Granted, it might have been a time loop thing.
Yeah, no. It was supposed to be another girl. Basically, the queen was able to sense that somebody had stolen the silver crystal, so she went looking for Chibiusa.
And that happened to look like Chibiusa.
That looked like Chibiusa, exactly. And so that was why she ran to that girl's aid, because she thought it was Chibiusa. I mean, she would have run to the girl's aid anyway.
Which, that kid is dead now, probably. That kid is super dead.
Accurate.
I felt like the kid got saved somehow.
I don't think so.
Nah.
But,
This is not
positive thinking.
Listen, in the manga, in the scene where the girls wake up in the cell, they are surrounded by dead bodies. So Crystal cut those out because they don't quite delve into the nightmare fuel of the manga much.
It was too much extra stuff for the anime portion.
Yeah, no, that's it. They were just trying to cut back.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, let's move on to news and gossip.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So there's a couple images as well. Let's start with, first of all, there is a new release of a new musical that's going to come out.
Yay!
I know Emma Fyffe wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the new, they announced that it was happening a while ago.
Second one.
And basically now the new Sailor Moon musical, or Seiramyu as it gets abbreviated to, has a title and a release date. On May 1st, the official Sailor Moon 20th anniversary page announced that Sailor Moon Un Nouveau Voyage will premiere in Tokyo on September 18th and will continue its run through the end of September, at which point it will move to Osaka. This musical will cover the Infinity arc of the manga, which means we'll be getting Sailor Uranus, Sailor Neptune, and Sailor Saturn, though there's no word yet on the casting of those. On a sort of bittersweet note, this is going to be the last Mew for the 5 girls playing Sailor Moon and the Inner Guardians right now, which is really, if you guys haven't watched either La Reconquista or Petite Étrangère, I can't recommend them enough. They are really fantastic. They take all of the best stuff from all the versions of Sailor Moon and put it into a 2-hour musical that just feels so comprehensive. It has beautiful character development. It's incredibly well acted. It is Teruzuka style, so all of the roles are played by women. And fortunately, there is no mention of Yuga Yamato, who plays Mamoru, moving on after Un Nouveau Voyage. I don't think they could ever replace her because she is magical.
Do you know where people can find
Yeah, absolutely. If you guys have not seen the Sailor Moon musicals, most of the older ones are on YouTube, but to find the new ones, go to missdream.org.
Okay.
She has beautiful downloads of them. Missdream.org is one of the best Sailor Moon sites there is. If you want to read the Sailor Moon manga, they're really famous for their scanlations of the Sailor Moon manga. That is where I read it. And yeah, they do have fan subs of the new musicals, and you guys should definitely watch them. Somebody in the chat said that musical Rubius is hot. Yes, he/she is.
That's funny. That's great. That's great. Okay, and then two more little. There are some Sailor Moon. This is a fan art that I decided to share. I saw this on Instagram. Yes, for all you ladies and fellas that want some extra protection.
Oh Lord.
Here you go.
Corey sent this to all of us earlier in the week, and we all died. I have no words for this fan art.
Featherlight with a misspelling of feather. Tingle, ribbed, and elite. I would choose elite, just saying.
Do you want to explain it to the people who are listening to the
For
podcast?
all you guys listening and that you guys aren't seeing this on YouTube, it is basically Durex condom boxes with Mamo-chan and his fella knights, four kings, and there are different packages of Durex, whether it's for performance, featherlight, like ribbed, or tingle. Yeah,
And we're just gonna giggle like immature middle
dying.
schoolers.
I mean, we were talking about it. If a guy busted that out, we would be like, oh, hey, soulmate.
okay.
And also, there are some Sailor Moon bikinis, and I love bikinis. I don't think I would ever wear this to just too much covering. I know that sounds really weird. I just don't like there's no sun. Like, where can you tan? Like,
It would create weird suntan lines.
It would be some interesting tan lines
exactly.
for sure.
That's what I was thinking.
They're very cute.
They
do you
are
know cute. Which line this is? Who's the manufacturer?
You know what? I don't remember. I know that Topic sells a version of bikinis.
They do, and their Sailor Moon bikini doesn't cover your shoulders with the cowl that way.
This is definitely like Asian style. I
don't think I'd ever wear these, but that's just because I don't wear bikinis. Maybe if they do a one piece.
Yeah.
Oh, they do have a one piece. Let's get you a one piece.
I'm gonna give it a go.
What have I done?
So
Don't
you guys,
listen to me.
Yeah, you guys listening, we just showed a photo of Sailor Moon bikinis, and there you guys have
They're
it.
cute, not for us.
Yeah, not for us. And I think that about wraps up our after show. Predictions are. Do you want to predict anything?
And now,
I love this
your
part.
AfterBuzz TV
Predictions.
prediction.
Usually there's a light show to accompany it, but
You're like, what?
why are the lights flashing? Obviously, the next episode, that's when we're going to get. I guess it's Black Lady.
Black Lady, yeah.
I don't know. I always like Dark Lady better, but that's just me.
It wasn't. I thought it was Wicked Lady in the deep
It
dive.
was Wicked Lady. I figured that. I mean, that sounds better than Black Lady.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Japan.
Except that makes me
Japan.
Black Lady makes me think of the Cher song.
But
Okay,
I
go
think
on.
we're gonna have a good portion of that episode actually devoted to creating Black
Yes.
Lady. So, and I remember from the original series that actually was like an episode-long affair. Like that actually did take time to kind of brainwash Chigusa into buying into this whole thing.
We just have a couple episodes left before the season ends.
I know.
How are they gonna squeeze all that in?
Yeah.
Gotta make it happen though.
I'm still rooting for it to end the same way as Petite Étrangère, which was a little different than the manga. I would love it if it ended that way. That was the best plot twist of my life.
But I would like it to continue to follow the manga.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But if it wanted to go off the deep end and be Petite Étrangère, I'd also be fine with that.
I'm gonna go ahead and sound like a broken record. I want it to end more like the original end.
That's so funny. We all have a little how we want it to end. All right. Well,
Original is so much better, guys. Like, oh my god.
Listen, it's all about the new
you
muse.
should talk like that throughout the whole after show. That's something that doesn't sound like you at all. Okay, well, guys, where can everyone follow you for the next 2 weeks before we get to the next act?
I'm Megan. You can follow me on Twitter at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I'm also on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz, including Robots in Disguise coming up, Orphan Black, a bunch of stuff. I've also started writing articles for the movie Chick. That's Chick with 2 Ks, so be sure to check those out.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Emma Fyffe. You can also follow me on Instagram at Emma Fyffe. Basically, all social media things, I'm at Emma Fyffe. You can also watch me on the Transformers Robots in Disguise AfterBuzz show very soon here. So stick around, watch it. Megan and I will both be there, as well as the Cosplay Coach on the Popcorn Talk Network on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock. And if you like Sailor Moon, which you probably do if you are watching / listening to this, you can also listen to me talk more about it on my Sailor Moon podcast I do outside of here. It is called Love and Justice. You can find us in the iTunes store, search for Love and Justice, or just search for Sailor Moon in the podcast section of the iTunes store. You'll find us. It's great.
All right, and you can follow me at KAORIOUS Twitter, as well as Instagram, and also the whole entire AfterBuzz team right here at AfterBuzz TV. We have a crap ton of shows.
Yeah, so many.
So you watch
Over
one
100
TV show
hours of free content every week.
Yes.
Somebody even commented in our chat today that it's amazing. There's one YouTube channel that breaks down both Sailor Moon and Survivor.
Yes. True. Very, very true. So don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And we'll catch you guys in about 2 weeks for some more Sailor Moon Crystal.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.